think about that type of stuff.
What's up? What's up? Um, when I say best hip hop or rap battles of all time, I'm not talking about like on stage guys battling. So I want to dismiss that. Even though I do like some battle rap, okay? I'm talking about like hip hop um, battles that didn't end it in tragedy and beef. So I'm gonna exclude the Tupac and Biggie beef, but I will talk about um, if I'm just talking about battle rap in general. I do like Goods, okay, from New York City. Actually gonna post up some of his videos and react to him. I think he has the sarcastic, the swag, the flow, the delivery for a great battle rapper. Him and a guy named Charlie Clips are my best battle rappers in terms of on stage. I think those guys have a great flow, delivery, and sarcastic. And in order to be a good battle rapper, you got to be able to move the crowd. But that's like a different form of hip hop. It's rap, but at the same time, it's more like just distance somebody. You're looking at somebody from top to bottom and you're breaking them down. But what I'm talking about is actual hip hop beefs, battles on wax, song for song, verse for verse. And give off like my five favorite battles of all time. Now, number five for me got to be Beanie Siegel versus Jadakiss. That battle was so evenly matched. It was great because it was like these two guys went at it bar for bar, and it didn't end in tragedy. Nobody got shot. It was just two great lyricists going at it at the height of their career and battling. That was like one of my favorite battles of all time. I loved it, the aspect of Beanie Siegel and Jadakiss battling, man. And I never thought that'd be a good battle, but I gravitated to it from the beginning when that beef popped off, and I thought it was, hey man, this is going to be a slugfest. These two guys are going to go at it. So Beanie Siegel versus what's up, kid? Uh, Beanie Siegel going at it with Jadakiss was by far one of my favorite battles of all time, and it was like a street hip hop battle because they were going at it Glock for Glock, shot for shot, and that was one of my favorite battles. Um, Number four of my hip hop battles, um, it has to be probably for a lot of people that don't know, you know, or probably didn't heard about it too much. It has to be Nas versus Cormega. Now, this is two guys from Queens, same neighborhood. All right, this is a Queens affair, you know, so I could speak on this as well. But Nas versus Cormega was a good battle, man. On wax, it was great. It took a while for Nas to really respond back to Cormega. Cormega kept making diss songs on Nas for a hot minute to a point that people thought Cormega was taking Nas's street cred. And Nas kind of came back at him on Build and Destroy, though. Once Nas came back at him with Build and Destroy, he pretty much ethered and destroyed Cormega with just one song. That's all it took for the great Nas to ether Cormega. And this was years after Cormega was making diss songs on Nas, constantly talking about it. And that was the funny part. That's the funny part about it. But the beef itself was very intriguing because you had the whole thing with Nature and Cormega, the Firm and Nas. They had a lot of people involved in this beef, which made it very entertaining and fun, to listen to. But I know you probably be like, man, you haven't even mentioned Tupac versus Biggie. Tupac versus Biggie was a battle that we had to take place and notice because it was all over the media and everybody had to gravitate towards it. But that did more negativity than positivity. People got killed, and it united a whole coast war. It was East Coast versus West Coast, a whole war going on, and that was something I didn't like too much, you know. But it was by far the most biggest impactful battle or beef in hip hop history. There was no beef bigger than the Tupac and Biggie beef, period. But since that ended in tragedy, I'm not going to put that on this list, because it was bigger than rap, you know. But number 3 for me was none other than, because I did 4. Number 3 for me is none other than 50 Cent himself. 50 Cent has so much classic battles. Yeah, this guy, when he was in his height of his career and he was hot and he was selling millions of records, the number 1 rapper in the world, the number 1 talked about rapper in the world, he literally had everybody going at him. He had a beef with Nas. He had a beef with Rick Ross. He had beef with Jadakiss and the Lox. He had beef with Ja Rule. The beef with Ja Rule was kind of corny to me because I never thought Ja Rule was on 50 Cent's level. But when he started beefing with the other guys, it was fun. And it was definitely entertaining. And one of the most entertaining beefs for me with G Unit, it comes down to 2. I'm going to put them in the same 3 spot, was G Unit versus, I can't forget the Game beef. And man, woo. So I'm going to put them all in the same category because it's all 50 Cent for number 3. 50 Cent versus the Game, 50 Cent versus D Block or G Unit versus D Block, and 50 Cent versus Rick Ross. Now, out of those 3 battles, I can't forget, I'm going to have to add a 4th in here. 50 Cent versus Cameron. Well, that was a funny beef. Curtis! Okay, so let me break down all of them one by one. 50 Cent versus the Game was a very intriguing beef, okay? But the problem with this beef, the reason why I'm going to take it off the list is because I didn't get enough response back from 50 Cent. It was just pretty much the Game going at G Unit by himself. And, he came up with the G-Unit, all of that whole movement. And he put a hole in the G-Unit brand, but not to a point that it destroyed G-Unit because 50 Cent never really respond back to him. So if the other guy don't respond back, it's not much of a battle. So I had to take that off the list. But the Lox versus G-Unit was a good battle because this was a battle that G-Unit actually respond back to. And I honestly believe that D Block won this battle because this is one of the few battles that G Unit lost because D Block was taking away G Unit's whole street cred. Those 4 guys, J Hood, Cheek Luch, Jadakiss, and Styles P, they went hard on G Unit to a point that 50 Cent and them boys had to patch things up and be like, yo, you know what? It's better to be cool with these guys instead of battling with them because you was battling with these guys and it appears like G Unit had no way of winning this battle. So they took an L going up against D Block for me. The second one was Cam versus 50 Cent. You know how that started. That all started from Hot 97. Cameron called in 50 Cent. They had an argument about Mobb Deep and G Unit cells. And, Cameron kept talking over 50 Cent, yelling and screaming at him. And that yelled to the confrontation. That yelled to that came back to the confrontation. And that call also was classic because that's when Styles P got on there. And Styles P was talking reckless on 50 Cent. But G Unit had nothing. They had no answers for D Block. D Block absolutely executed G Unit. They took an L on that. But 50 Cent won the battle against Cameron to a point that Cameron disappeared for a while. And he was nowhere to be found. That's how much I thought that 50 Cent won the battle over G Unit. I mean, over Dipset, to a point that he got Jim Jones to hang out with G Unit for a while. Jim Jones was even turning his back on 50 Cent. So 50 Cent interfered with Dipset's plans. He took the whole crew and just interfered. Okay, he put some G Unit on Dipset and broke up the whole crew for a while. So he had a lot of power to do that. That was poison, So 50 Cent definitely won that one. And the last one on this list was 50 Cent versus Rick Ross. Okay, 50 Cent battling Rick Ross. Yeah. That was a fun battle because both of these guys went at each other. I'm gonna say G Unit won this battle because they made it better diss songs. And they came out with these classic mixtapes, but at the same time, they couldn't destroy Rick Ross because Rick Ross kept coming back. He kept coming back, dropping good albums, and that was just happened to be in the height of his career, where he had like back-to-back good albums. You could say 3 good albums in a row. The Deeper Than Rap was a borderline classic. Teflon Don was hot. He was just dropping hot songs after hot songs, album-wise. But when it comes to the battle of going up against G Unit, he kept taking L's because G Unit diss tracks was just better. It was just flat out better, you know. And when 50 Cent, Rick Ross had his shirt off in the Bronx, trying to act like he was taking over New York, that was just sad, bro. You know, and the whole correctional officer thing. Once 50 Cent came out with the correctional officer thing, the CO, he kind of executed Rick Ross on that. And then with the whole baby mom thing with the videotape, man, that was kind of ether too. So 50 Cent was killing this guy. Even Game was like, man, I may have to come in there and help Rick Ross out a little bit. Rick Ross, you need some help, and you need some help with this beef. You know, so all those G Unit beefs come in at number 3 for me. Okay, yeah. Now number 2 for hip hop battles. All right, that was you know, fun to watch, or you know, great to listen to in terms of going back and forth on wax was number 2. Well, hold on, what was number 2 for me? Damn, I just slipped my mind. Now I have to think about it again. But number 2, oh yeah, number 2 is LL Cool J versus Cannabis. Okay. Now, this may be a weird battle for some people that, man, I can't believe you was into that. Yes, I was into that LL Cool J versus Cannabis. You know, track Cannabis made on LL. Now, keep you on your grind. He went in on that Mike Tyson track, you know, to a point that LL Cool J had to come back, the Queen's legend. He came back hard, you know, and he came back with a song called Can I Bust? Yes, you can. Classic LL joint. LL Cool J is one of the infamous battle rappers. One of the rappers that most rappers fear in a battle is LL Cool J, okay? He's been battling since the 80s, Etherin cats. He loves it. He has a whole format to battle rap, you know, on wax. He's the king of that. So don't take the licking the lips, all that other stuff that he do on his videos when he make them laid back songs. Don't get it twisted. LL Cool J would get at you, okay? LL Cool J would ether you. He will get at you. Now, my number 1, my top beef or battle in hip hop history for me is none other than the Teflon Dons themselves. 2 of the greatest East Coast rappers of all time, 2 of the greatest rappers of all time, period, for most people. Nas versus Jay-Z. This beef was epic. It changed the whole world. This beef was 10 years in the making. People always wondered who was better, Nas or Jay-Z. It was like water in a pot that was boiling over. You know, everybody was just wondering who's better. And Jay-Z put Nas in a chokehold at one point, to a point I remember people were saying Nas had to respond back, you know, because I think Nas was going to go the route of not responding back. I believe Nas was going to go the route of being quiet and not saying nothing, you know, and you can't do that, you know, because New York was calling Nas out. And then when New York called Nas out, he came back in stunning fashion with the ether. And nobody questioned him after that. You know, it was a wrap after that. You know, Jay-Z came back with some weak freestyle diss. The battle was over. It was spoke. But I would tell you this much. Involved in that beef was Jay-Z versus Mobb Deep. And Jay-Z really caught them with that takeover. You know, I got money bags bigger than you. Oh my God. Mobb Deep never really made a good diss track to get back at Jay-Z the way they got back at Tupac. Now, if you listen to Drop a Gem on him, Mobb Deep versus Tupac, Mobb Deep spoke Tupac on Drop a Gem on him. That was fire, you know? I don't know if Tupac would have came back from that hard. I don't know if Tupac would have did what he had, what it takes to come back against Mobb Deep on that track. Because the way they went at Tupac on Drop a Gem on him, bar for bar, word for word, they absolutely flamed Tupac. And unfortunately, this song came out a couple weeks before his passing, and they said to remove that song off the they tried to get that song removed off the Hell on Earth album, but I think it still made the cut, you know. But listen to that Drop a Gem song on him, and if you don't think Mobb Deep was good at battle rap, you'll change your mind on that. But they never really had a good comeback for Jay-Z. Jay-Z kind of spoke. Now, Jay-Z was afraid of Mobb Deep, and he actually went up to him at one point, chucked their hand and said, hey, you know what, this is just rap shit. You know, nothing personal. Because Mobb Deep, he was by himself in the club where Mobb Deep was surrounding the whole club. They could have jumped and gave Jay-Z the beat down. And Jay-Z did the smart thing. He did the absolutely smart thing by going up to Prodigy, shaking his hand and be like, yo, dog, this is all rap. You know, there's no beef, right? Jay-Z had to do that because he was going to get stomped out in that club by Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep was like 50 deep. And at that point, you seen what Mobb Deep did to Saigon. They made Saigon run all around New York. They was chasing Saigon all around New York. You know, same crew that gave Noriega the business. The way they beat Noriega down, Noriega came back to the bridge and shot the place up. He was trying to shoot Mobb Deep up, you know, but that's a Queen story, another story for a whole day. You know, I could tell you the whole story about how that went down with Noriega and Mobb Deep being the fact that I'm from Queens. I know the whole story for that, you know, but that started partly Noriega accidentally shot somebody that was affiliated with Mobb Deep by accident, and he couldn't go back to Queensbridge for a while. And you know, Mobb Deep caught up with him and gave him a hug, and they gave him that business. Yeah, Kid Trunk. Mobb Deep killed Tupac on that Drop a Gem on him. Tupac, I don't know if Tupac would have had a good response to come back to that, you know, because there was some guys that could lyrically murder Tupac. You know, imagine if Nas decided to come at Tupac, but they met in Central Park and they squashed their beef. But if Nas wanted to execute Tupac on wax, he'd have destroyed Tupac. Biggie, here's a new thing that people don't understand. If Biggie wanted to respond back to Tupac, he'd have did damage to Tupac. Biggie's lyrical ability was better than Tupac. So if he wanted to, with an East Coast beat, a deadly East Coast beat and those lyrics, my God, you can imagine what Biggie would have did, you know? Yeah, Tupac was never really a great lyrical rapper. So just imagine what Biggie could have did to Tupac if he wanted to respond. But Biggie didn't want to keep that energy. He didn't want to get involved in that beef. And he actually liked it, Tupac. You know, Big had a lot of respect for Tupac to a point like he wouldn't even let people in his crew diss Tupac. He's like, yo, don't talk about that, man. Take that off. Little Kim dissed Tupac. He erased the whole verse. When all these guys was on his crew was like, yo, we got to get at Pop. He didn't want it. He said, no, don't talk bad about that, man. You know, that shows you how much respect he had for Tupac. You know, because if he wanted to, he could have, you know, really got at him. But it's the funny part. After Tupac passed him, Biggie was gloating and making diss songs about Tupac. I don't get that. You know, that whole blood in your dungarees, you know, and you know he made that freestyle, you know, Little C's Cripple Me. That whole verse was a diss towards Tupac, and he was dissing Tupac lightly in songs, you know. French braid your eyebrows. He was talking about Tupac's eyebrows because Tupac had really big eyebrows, and Biggie was dissing him on that. And then Biggie dissed him on the Jay-Z track, Brooklyn's Finest. You know, if she have a baby, it'll be Tupac. Get it? You know, you know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of guys on the East Coast that would have gave Tupac the business, you know, and for some reason, sometimes they fall back. I think they fell back because of who Tupac was aligned with. That's why, you know. But if you just told him about straight up rap, straight up rap, a lot of guys who gave him the business, even Ghostface Killah, My Legs Jack, Don't Want to See Tupac. That was off the Cuban Links album. You know? Wu-Tang is one of the greatest rap groups of all time. Imagine if they dissed Tupac. 9 straight MCs. If they really wanted to put that time and energy into a diss track, it'd have been over. So I didn't mention none of Tupac's beefs because, as you can see, it was deeper than rap a little bit. Yeah, Big should never came to LA, man. He thought it was all sweet. He was in LA flossing like, oh, East Coast Don in the house, mother. Dog, after you made disses, you was on live radio dissing Tupac. Everybody know what you was talking about when you was making those freestyles. You know? But just imagine if Biggie, like, Who Shot You was rumored diss towards Tupac. But just imagine if Biggie made a song like that towards Tupac. It'd have been ugly. Who shot you? Separate the wheat from the opera. Yo, Big was hardcore. He was a better hardcore artist than Tupac. He would have smoked Tupac if it was hardcore gangster lyrics. He would have destroyed Tupac. All right? Feet like Sound Squatch feet. Oh, yeah. Now I'm getting in the mood to play that song, you know? Man. I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek. Man, that was hard. That was hard. Imagine a song like Machine Gun Funk, but being towards Tupac. Imagine. Because when Biggie got hardcore, he got hardcore. All right? Because that's what he was known for. So, man, it'd have been ugly. It'd have been ugly. That's all I got to say. It'd have been ugly, you know. But those are my top 5 hip hop battles of all time. Yeah, I'm about to be out of here, man. I just wanted to chop that up, talk about my top 5 hip hop battles. All right, beef, so to speak. But since we're talking about battles, if y'all like battle rap, like Goods or Charlie Clips, man, we're going to get into it talking about that. You know, a lot of good battle rappers. I enjoy some of those good battle raps. My only problem with battle rap, they need to declare a winner. They just have guys go 3 rounds and that's it. You don't declare a winner. But if you know about battle rap, you probably know about Goods. Goods have a swag that he brings to battle rap that's just impeccable because he's from New York. He got the little cup in his hand, and while the guy be doing his battle rap, he just standing there like this. You know, no, chill, son. No. He always does that. He has good crowd control. That's a good way of being a battle rap, if you can control the crowd. And he does that good, you know. So shout out to Goods, man. Yeah, he said one line in the quote before I leave. It's no biggie for me to get Black Rob. You get it? I thought that was slick. I said, okay. You know, shout out to Black Rob, though, R.I.P. You know, passed away, man. Yeah, he had health issues. Sad to see that. Sad to hear that. You know, great rapper out of Harlem. Harlem has produced some great rappers. You know, but yeah, those are my top 5 hip hop battles. You can leave in the comment section after this video is over. Who is your favorite top 5 battle battles in hip hop, beefs or whatever you want to call them. You know, I didn't pick the ones that ended in violence. Like you got so much beefs even today that ended in violence. And I completely forgot about the Lil Wayne versus Jilly the Kid. Y'all remember that? That Lil Wayne versus Jilly the Kid beef was funny though, because Jilly the Kid is very sarcastic. So yeah. Oh, yeah. Young Guns versus Major Figures. That was a good beef. A lot of people don't know about that. That's a Philly thing, you know. But we out, man. Peace.